Hey guys, how are you today? Oh, just running a second late. Sorry, Barbara. I will grab you. We're live. Hi.
Good afternoon. I was trying to click on the flame icon and I just was not fast enough. You know how
There's
you
new
can,
there's new icons at the bottom now.
yeah,
Mine has like two people with a plus.
I had when I first went on, before I joined, I could have hit the flame, but I wasn't fast
Oh,
enough.
what's the
Because
what's the flame supposed to do?
I don't know, just a little, because it's stinking hot here. It
Oh,
feels like I'm standing on top of a Bunsen burner.
oh, really? How hot? Like in the 30s?
It's in the low 30s with a humidex in the high 30s. But
Wow.
not in here, but it's psychological. I have the air cranked,
Yeah.
so it's blowing on the back of my head, which is okay.
It was supposed to be low 30s this week, and it's not. It's like 25 today. It's beautiful, like perfect. And my house is cold. Like I'm in a vest because I'm downstairs, and when we close up all the windows in the morning, keeps the house nice and cool for the rest of the
But
day.
you don't have air conditioning, right? I
Oh,
think
we
that's
have a little air conditioning box for our bedroom that
mm.
if you crank it full tilt, it might bring the temperature down. Last year when we had that heat dome, I think it brought the temperature down to like 24, which, is okay. But my husband can't stand the noise. So you remember
Oh,
this from New York. Like I was like, yay, somebody who likes
oh
to have
my
the air
God! We
conditioning.
had our
That's so,
room like a meat locker. It was the best.
I know. I loved it like
So did
that.
I. Like, cause you can pull the blankets up, and you can like you don't. Oh, I hate being hot at night.
I know, but there was, and it was white noise. It was great. It helped us sleep through the traffic, right?
Yes, it did. New York.
Yes. Shall we
Yeah.
spill? Guess what, guys? We're going to New York again. Can you tell?
All booked. All booked.
All booked.
Cannot wait.
Signed, sealed, delivered.
So if you live
It's
in
happening.
New York City, look out. We're coming.
Yeah, we'll share details when we get closer, but we're pretty excited. So,
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. This is the summer where I need something really fun to look forward to for so many reasons.
mhm.
That will be fun. That'll be fun.
Before we go any further, I didn't do an
Oh,
like I didn't do a, hey, this is who we are
oh,
and this is what we're doing. So if you're just catching us live, guys, my name's Tamara Grand and this is,
Barbara Reade.
and we are here with no brush required. We haven't been here for a couple weeks because summer seems to be about kicking back and not being on a schedule. So, but we're here most Tuesdays talking about art,
Another
sort of,
stuff.
and other stuff.
Like bubbly and what else? What do we like to talk about? Cocktails.
Yeah.
We talked about cocktails with isn't this awful? My mind is like blank.
Marlene
Alice.
and Alice.
Alice. I'm thinking Helen.
Yeah.
No, her name's not Helen.
Yeah.
It's Alice. Alice Sheridan, who was our last guest. Correct?
That's right. Yeah. And you can find all the replays. We're at episode 65 today, and we thought we'd just hop on and do a catch up with you guys and each other and find out what's going on. Jules says she's finding it hard to do art in the summer. Me too, Jules.
Yeah.
I just want to sit outside and go to the lake and,
Yeah. Anybody else just doesn't want to, be inside painting. And I'm not an outdoor painter, a plein air painter. I do not do that. I know if you do that, this is probably a great time. Although the bugs and the heat, I don't know how you can handle it. How do you handle it? And we have ticks. Like there are ticks everywhere right now. Like everywhere. So
we have bears and
oh
cougars. So
my God.
funny that just before I hopped on. So I'm going out this afternoon. It's the Wise Owl program that I participated in last year at the local day camp. So I have a few dates that I go out and I do today I do art with the kids. And it's really fun and exciting. And my supervisor, the woman who's doing the volunteer coordinator, just texted me and said she just left the camp and she was driving down the road and a big cougar ran across in front of her car. I'm like, okay, I didn't sign up for cougars while I'm painting outside.
No. Oh my God, you better be careful.
Well,
What do you have, like a whistle or like a Fox 40 whistle or something you can blast?
well, the counselor for the group will be with us, and we won't. I mean, it's a big camp, and so there's a lot of kids and counselors out there, and they do have an air horn that they blast if there's an emergency, like a cougar sighting, and everybody has to meet at the muster area. So,
Or bear.
yeah, bears we don't worry about those as much around here, just because they're around all the time, and unless you come across a mom and cubs, everybody sort of knows what to do.
What about moose? Do you guys get moose?
No moose.
Because apparently they're quite dangerous.
It can be. We're too far south and west, I believe, for moose.
And they're big. Yeah. Like bullwinkle. Bigger than bullwinkle.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I hope we get someone who wants to pop on with us. Otherwise,
if anybody wants to hop on and chat with us about what you're doing this summer and how your summer's going art-wise, all you have to do is hit that little video thing at the bottom of your screen that's got a plus in the middle, and that'll be a request to join, and then I will accept, and you'll be live on screen with us. So just know that if you want to join in, we're going to see your happy face, and we're happy to do that.
Although you can do a lot with lighting, like a shadow, but it's a good way to actually get into a live if you've never done it before, because it's easy.
It is.
Easy, no pressure.
Yeah. Hey Douglas, lots of crows, jays, late night raccoons. Yes. Yeah. We have crows doing weird things around here right now. I don't like the crows. They kind of freak me out. I think I must have read too many weird stories about crows when I was a kid. Oh, we have someone who wants to pop on.
Hey, who's coming?
Oh. Nope, they just took their little plus away. Oh, it's Marg. Marg does want to come on. Marg,
come on.
Please. Here she comes, hopefully. I just accepted.
Marg is local.
To you.
So she's in my neck of the woods. She's from Dundas, I believe. Marg will confirm.
Here she comes.
See, about the lighting?
He's spinning.
That's okay.
That might be an internet problem.
Keep trying, Marg. Hang in there.
We'll wait for her.
Yeah.
We'll wait for her. So with my group this afternoon, though, I decided not to paint this year. I'm going to do collage with them instead, because last year it's really messy doing acrylic painting outside with kids. Couldn't join. Marg, just a quick, if this helps at all, what I usually do to make sure I get good reception is I go on my best Wi-Fi route connection at home, and I shut down my cell phone connection, because cell often tries to pick up if Wi-Fi is, they do something. They can conflict with each other if you have a problem with one of those two signals. Anyways, that's what I usually do to try to avoid problems. Try again.
So you're doing collage now. Are the kids going to make their own collage materials? Or are you going?
No, we don't have time. I have an hour with them, pretty much.
That's nothing. Yeah.
So luckily, my friend she was at the Opus Plein Air event on, this is a shout out to Opus Art Supply. She was at their Plein Air event on Saturday, and she was going to have to get me some substrates for them to apply their collage materials to. And for the Plein Air event, they gave them these 5x7 inch canvas boards, so the really thin ones. And she always is really good at talking up her programs, and she talked up her program, and they gave us a box of 50 of them. So I have it for free. So I have enough for all 3 days that I'm going out with my groups, because I'll probably only have about 10 kids at a time.
Awesome. That's really great.
Yeah.
So 5x7, that's small. So, what did Marty just say?
Asked you about red-winged blackbirds.
Oh, I think the season for red-winged blackbirds, thank God, where they're nesting is over, because do you guys get those out there? So usually spring, late spring, and they're nesting, and what they do is they build their nest, I think, on the grass, and then they sit a ways away, and anyone who goes near the nest, meaning you could be out walking on the sidewalk, they will dive bomb your head, and they make this horrible, terrifying sound. I've been dive bombed before, a couple times. I was behind someone who got dive bombed, on the sidewalk walking downtown, and then my good friend Adrian, her husband, who's 6'3", 6'3" or 6'4", he got nailed. And Adrian was dying laughing because she's short.
Yeah.
And Tony just was like multiple times. This bird was going for his head. So I'm not a huge fan of the red-winged blackbird. Marty, did you ever get dinged? I don't know that she ever got dinged.
Crows do the same thing, and crows are really smart, and they will remember. And so there were stories. This hasn't happened to me, but I remember hearing stories in downtown Vancouver in the spring where there were areas of the sidewalk that people wouldn't pass on because the crows would remember you, or if they did, they would put an umbrella over their head because the crows would remember and they would come back after certain people. Terrifying. It's like
crows are big. I would think crows would be way worse than red-winged blackbirds. Red-winged blackbirds, it's more the idea that they're going after your head than the actual reality is they don't really do too much. They kind of just mess up your hair and scare the crap out of you when they come swooping down. But I would imagine a crow could do some serious head damage.
Yeah.
Wasn't it crows in the birds? The Hitchcock, or was that ravens?
Ravens. It could have been ravens or rooks, they call them. I think he called them rooks. That's a raven.
What's the difference? Oh, Douglas, you got bombed by crows?
Look, see, I'm not the only one who's terrified of crows.
Okay, now I'm a little afraid. I always thought they were supposed to be smart and wise. Maybe not so
too smart,
but they're wise, and they clearly have long memories.
So, tell me what you just posted something about a painting that got accepted in a show. Tell me what you've been doing.
Okay,
because that's how you're painting again. I mean, now
a little bit. Right? Yeah. So this tall, skinny guy. I thought yesterday, let's just start something, and I mostly started that one with inks. Okay. Are you using the acrylic inks?
I have them. I don't pull them out as often as I should.
I like actually starting a piece with acrylic inks because they're very intense, they're very thin, and you can spread them around pretty easily. So that's 90% inks right now.
Wow.
I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I'll do something.
Stripes.
There's going to be stripes. But, I have to I'm just not sure, do I want to do a color that's completely unrelated or keep it in this sort of watery palette, which it kind of is. It's kind of it looks like skies, like multiple layers of skies. Don't know how that happened, but it did. So that's on the go. I've got 3 pieces in a show in Toronto at the Leslie Grove Gallery. Thanks, Jules. And it's called the Summer Smalls Festival, and it's on for another couple of weeks. And actually, one of the pieces sold to one of our viewers.
Who bought it?
Melody.
Oh, good.
So Melody bought it, and I was thrilled to hear. She treated herself as a little birthday gift. So that show's on a couple more weeks. In a couple of days, what's today, Tuesday? So Thursday, Pretty and I think Pretty's on this call, unless she hopped off. Pretty and I are driving to Waterloo with our big pieces. So the next show is the total opposite. So it's called the Big Ideas Show at the Paula White Diamond Gallery. There's Melody.
Yay!
Happy birthday, you. It's all big pieces. They have to be bigger, I think bigger than 900 square inches. So the one I'm taking in is 36 by 36. There's Pretty. We're doing a road trip in 2 days. I hope you know how to get to Waterloo. So that, and then I think next week I'm dropping 5 pieces off again to Toronto. A whole pile of striped pieces, which together look really cool, at a gallery called Blitz Art Gallery.
Wow.
So that was another show. Should we talk about our last minute submissions?
Yeah, go ahead. I just wanted to say that you guys seem to have a lot of opportunity for gallery type shows.
It just kind of, I don't know. I spot. Thanks, Douglas. It does. It's ocean and sky for sure. Just kind of like popped up on Instagram. So I don't know, beyond that, I don't know what else is going on. But here's my new theory, and I believe Tamara is now following this theory, is that I have applied, of course, to lots of shows, juried shows. I think we all have. And the ones I really want to get into and I've planned way far ahead and really like sweat over, I don't get in. They don't get accepted, right? So this time, like all 3 all three of these shows pretty much were like last minute. Like it's the last day, the deadline's coming up at midnight. Let's just go for it. And I didn't really give it too much thought. So it seemed to work. I guess the less you fret about it and just kind of, we'll see what happens. No big deal.
Did you have to write artist statements for them?
Of course. But I have all these variations of my artist statements. And I just kind of like, if they're looking for a short one, I've got a version I use. If something is different about the pieces. Like, so the pieces I've submitted to these last three shows, they're all 100% acrylic. There's no mixed media. So I had to kind of modify the artist statement that way when I refer to process. So
that's interesting because that's a change for you.
Yeah. And I'm kind of itching to do some smalls with collage. Yeah. Because I do have a lot of papers and things. But I was just really getting into acrylic and just using strictly acrylic. But you know what it's like. You go in phases, right?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. I've been going back and forth. My back and forth seesaw thing lately has been substrate. Just when I think that all I want to work on is cradled panel, then I pull out a canvas and then I'm in love with canvas again. I know. And so
it's different.
I know. I did all those big pieces for Brave for that exhibition. Those were all on panel. And then I didn't have any big panels left, but I was just wanting to keep working big. So I had a couple of large canvases. And they're the Michaels level 3 one there, which I think I actually quite like them because they're pretty firm. They don't have a lot of bounce to them. And I just threw those up on the wall and I'm like, oh, I bought those on a whim when they were on super, super cheap. So let's just play. And now all I want to do is play on canvas.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, I'm kind of lazy, and I'm probably lazier in the summer.
Kathleen, 12 by 12 is too small. I can't work on that size anymore.
I have a few of those kicking around too.
I'm struggling with 12 by 12. Even looking at 20 by 20, I'm pulling them out because I do have, and I'm like, oh, I got to put like 4 of them together to make them feel like something.
And I'm even finding 24 by 24 feels tiny.
That's funny.
And then if you take, you go see a show, right? Go see a gallery exhibition. Nothing's 24 by 24 because they're small.
Yeah, I know.
Unless you've got a bunch that kind of go together. But I find a wood substrate, it requires more effort on my part. You gotta prime it and a few times, and then gloss medium first, and then there's do you do the sides and the back and the front? It's a much lengthier proposition, right?
True. It is kind of nice just to be able to get in, especially if you've already bought a canvas that's got a couple layers of gesso on it, right?
Yeah. Rip off the plastic and you start.
Yeah.
Which is what I did with this. Just rip it. And there's something about canvas too that takes that first layer of paint, so it just glides, right?
Yeah.
Just kind of glides on, and some of it absorbs, and I like that.
Yeah.
But that doesn't mean I won't go back to wood. Of course I will.
I find it really interesting too because of the subtraction process that I've been using. Rob's juice, which I've applied, kind of made you can't really do that with acrylics, but I've sort of figured out a way to pull paint off that I like, that's giving me the effects I like. It doesn't work on canvas. I find the way it does on wood, because I can scrub a little bit more, and I love the wood texture when it comes through, but I don't love the canvas texture as much when it comes through. So I've been, this is hilarious. I have this huge, I've been using our very favorite shop towels, and this whole roll has been rolled on paintings. And I have to tell you, and I reuse them afterwards, but it's been a great way to take paint off. And when I was doing that live demo, this elderly gentleman came along and he looked at my painting, my roll, and he said, that is so much nicer than the white paper towels they sell in the stores. You should market that. I'm like, these are my shop towels that I use to lift paint off. No, there's
not going to market them, but they're wonderful for that.
They are.
I love doing that. But then sometimes my shop towel comes out and it's as stiff as a board when it dries, like covered in paint.
Oh,
completely covered in. I don't use I don't use that subtraction method that you use.
Yeah,
but,
I've been just going in rolling off, and it's giving me some really, like with these guys, it's some really gorgeous transparencies, then that's not from any, so there's a little bit of medium in there. But a lot of it is just taking the paint off at the right time, and kind of learning which colors need to come off faster than others, and how much I want to come up, and I'll just use the whole roll, and then I drape it around the studio to dry, and then I roll it back up again.
Good idea.
And use it again.
Well,
and again and again.
Jules said she uses hers as a brush. I've done that too.
Yeah.
I sometimes will use it as a brush. I'll use sandpaper as a brush sometimes. Just depends.
Yeah, absolutely.
So what's going on with your Brave show? How long is that on?
It's on. Well, that's good. Good question. I don't have a definite end date. Sometime at the end of the summer. So, the opening was good. I had lots of friends and colleagues, and then I was there again for Art Shuffle 10 days ago, and I had a lot of people who came by to see the art. There were a lot of people who were just there to drink beer, though, too. So and I have lots to say about what kinds of venues might make good places to do live painting demonstrations, and maybe a brewery is not the best place for that. But
no,
yeah, I don't know. My feeling was maybe not. Just part of the challenge with these things, and I'm still kind of unpacking all of the shuffle, is I was on my own at my venue, and we had 20 venues, and some of them had a lot of artists at them. So there was a great hub and a great vibe. If you've got 6 or 8 artists at one place, and there's live music playing, and all of that, it's a real attractor. And so where I was, and one of my friends was at another venue too, that was maybe a little bit separate from the main venues. And being on your own means that a bunch of things that you're relying on friends to show up to help you if you need a hand, but trying to paint live and man my display and talk to people and handle sales and engage people, because a lot of people were just there to drink beer on a Friday night. So they're like, what is this person doing over there? So I had to really kind of, use my extroverted skills to sort of bring people into what I was doing. So there's pros and cons to it, right?
I think I would want to be with a bunch of other artists.
Definitely, I do next year. I want that vibe, and I want to see and the other thing was, I wanted to see what other people were doing.
Yes.
So, I didn't get to any venues. I was at my own venue for the whole evening. So lots of fun. I had some great conversations with people who were interested. I sold, a handful of small paintings and a bunch of art cards and things, which is great to just be able to,
I'm having a moment. The hair, it just kicked in, but now that it's not blowing on the back of my head, it's like, okay.
But the best thing about the work being at Brave is, so a lot of people go into these pubs and will video and do their own videotapes and post on Instagram about their beer and their food at the food trucks. And so I stalk them all, and I get little glimpses of my paintings in the back of their photos, and I just reshare them.
Yep. That's great. So has it been a good experience having your work in the craft brewery?
Yes. Yeah. I've heard nothing but good things from people. I haven't sold any of the pieces that are in there. People love to tell you how much they love your work, but sometimes, it doesn't translate into sales. But my big goal for this year was just getting things out there, challenging myself to paint bigger and stepping out into that role as an artist in my community. So I think it's all really good for that. It would be nice not to bring all 6 of those big paintings home, but if that happens, then I think I need to put them together with some other things that I've got going and try to apply for a group show or something with it next year.
Are they all varnished?
Yeah. I felt like I had to finish them.
I know.
Because they're out in a public space.
Yeah.
And we used, so the system that we used to hang them on the walls is a cleat system. So there's actually 2 parts to it. One goes on the wall, and it's kind of like there's a hook that comes out, and then you have it on the back of the painting, and it goes in 2 places, and they don't move. So if you can I can't. Oh, they sell at Opus. The woman that had her work up there before had them on the back of her paintings, and we just moved them over. So the paintings don't move at all, which is great. But still, people can touch them. They're right over the tables where people are eating. If somebody splatters their ketchup from their burger, it could end up on a painting. So I kind of felt like I needed to make sure everything was properly varnished and ready to go.
Yeah. Yeah. Although, if you hadn't varnished them, somebody would want to buy one and take it home that day. And then you'd be like, I have to varnish
I know.
it. There's that.
You have, yeah. Yeah. And it felt like they were more finished looking.
Yeah. They do look great. And you use the satin or the high gloss or the gloss?
I used satin on 5 of them and 1 of them high gloss.
Yeah. So the satin, I just love the satin varnish.
Yeah.
Because you use the gloss medium first
to
create like an isolation.
Yeah, to create all those layers that you want to really get the depth and then varnish. But I have to tell you, the one that gets by and far the most response from anybody who talks to me about them is the one that has the high gloss. And you walk in and it's at the very, very back and it's the biggest painting. It's the red one. And I've got so many comments about that painting.
Then it needs to sell. Somebody needs to take it home.
It needs to go home. If it comes home here, it's going in my living room.
Yeah, there you go.
Because I love
So
it.
you know what? So in your mind, think, I really hope it doesn't sell.
Right, exactly.
Like you don't want it to sell.
Exactly.
You're going to be upset if it sells. It's going to be a bad day if it sells.
Like mind games with ourselves.
Last minute.
Well, I did it, and yes, so I did a last minute submission that it got accepted. I'm actually kind of excited because it's Federation Canadian Artists. It's their Vancouver Salon event, and so it's their biggest show of the year. And they show like in an old school salon style with the paintings stacked up over top of each other. So it brings a lot of different art in, and it brings a lot of people into the building. That's not till September, but that was really, I was happy to get that one in. And then I've just submitted, waiting to hear back about the abstract show. They have one show a year that's all abstract work. And I got my nerve up and submitted 2 big pieces as a diptych. And this is something to learn. If you have to pay for submission fees for shows and you want to submit 2 pieces, if they fit and they're diptych, submit them together because it's only one item.
And they're okay with that.
I reached out and I asked because I'd seen other people submitting that like that. I said, do I submit them as separate items? They said they have to be in the same image with nothing around them and only a small gap between them.
For when
the paintings,
you display it.
For when you submit the images. You don't submit separate images of the paintings. If you submit separate images, they're separate items. So I submitted them both together, and together they're both 36 by 24. So they're like 36 by 48.
Yeah, that's a whole
impact
wall.
piece.
That's great.
That goes. And then I submitted another smaller one to hedge my bets.
Oh, did the small one get in?
I haven't heard either of them. I should hear back.
Oh,
yeah. They were due on Friday last week. That's when I sent them in.
Of course. I think that's what I'm going to do forever.
I have a request. I keep having a request. Eve Cohen. Do you know Eve? I'm going to accept you, Eve. That means you're going to be online. Eve Cohen Art. Oops, maybe we'll see her.
We'll meet
Eve Cohen Art. I've accepted her, but she keeps popping up as trying to join. We'll see. Okay, Eve, I've accepted you.
I think my sister should come on.
Hey, Marnie.
Marnie, get on. Oh, we don't have to talk.
She declined. I think she didn't think she was coming online. That's okay. Not everybody understands that request.
I think Marnie needs to come on. Marnie.
So what other shows? Are there other things that you're prepping for?
No, I have nothing. Honestly, I will have, when the 5 pieces go out the door next week to Toronto, I will have that one. There it is, pointing that with that. That'll be left, and then whatever happens to this, like the cupboard's bare. Now, if they all come back, that's another story.
Yeah.
Then I will have more work. So, yeah, I'll see what else is coming up in terms of shows to apply to. Because it doesn't matter.
Have you ever thought about applying with somebody else you know for a small group show?
Try to send you messages. Oh, Marg is that about coming on, Marg?
I'm going to invite her, Marg,
You're
again and see what happens.
you're getting invited again.
Marg, I guess I can't see any messages when I'm on here. Nothing comes through for me.
So to answer your question, like through my local fine arts association, you can there.
Yeah. Hey.
Last time we had a black rectangle.
I've been roaming around the house trying to find a good spot, and then
hold your phone way up in the air. Hey,
yeah, I'm gonna put it up here.
3 bars.
All right.
Yay!
Oh, and she's in
Marg, is that your
studio.
Yeah, well, I've been trying to work on some color swatches for a commission that I have, so
very nice.
kind of wanted to do that while I was listening.
Awesome. Yeah. Pretty
but I was excited, Barb, to hear about your, is it the Patricia Wright Gallery? Is that? No.
Paula. It's like a 3
Paula.
Paula White Diamond. It's called Big Ideas, and PWD. That's like their logo on Instagram, PWD, Paula White Diamond. And apparently I love the really nice gallery in Waterloo. And they've got a really great roster of artists. So I'm excited to just actually go set foot in that gallery with my buddy Pretty on Thursday. Yeah. It was nice to be accepted. Yeah. Next year you should apply. I think they do this every year.
Yeah. Oh, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been doing a spreadsheet of galleries and when they accept and all that, and then I forget to look at it because I'm doing something else.
Well, you're
anyway.
I do sticky notes on the ledge right in front of my in my studio desk, and then I'll highlight in pink as the dates come up. But otherwise, it's the same thing. You write them down, and then you forget to go and look.
Yeah, exactly.
I put them in here. I will screenshot it, and it goes into my 20,000 photos, and then okay, remember that. Stupid, right? Like I don't remember any of it.
Oh yeah, me too. And then I went away for a few days, and I thought, oh, I'll look at that while I'm away. But no.
No. Well,
it's okay. So what's going on with you?
Sorry, I'm going to turn you up here because I can't really hear you.
Because we're talking at the same time. We need a hand signal.
We do.
Yeah.
What's
going on with you?
Sorry. Well, I just did a show up in Kilbride. And I don't know that I'm going to do those kind of shows anymore. Because I really do believe that there's, the people coming are just what you said, Tamara. They love your work. They're going to contact you. They so far haven't. Some of them. The last show I was in was a little bit better, but the people who came and bought and ordered commissions were all people who already knew my work.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say, isn't it? But it was a whole weekend outside, talking, and
So where I know Kilbride. Whereabouts in Kilbride was it?
It was off of one of the concessions. It was at someone's home. Mm-hmm. It was one of those studio tours.
Yeah.
And there were 7 of us at the same place. And people only sold anything, art cards. Some people sold things that were $30. It's so I think it was more people just out for the day.
Yeah.
And this is reasonably priced. So.
Well, and my question then is, that was sort of my experience too, is it's only the smaller things, and I had a feeling that I needed to price things. I priced things less than I would normally sell my things for, because I don't know whether that's a lack of confidence on my part or just a savvy and understanding that people who are coming out for these events are happy to pick up some small things. And I don't really want to make a bunch of small stuff just for an event anymore.
No. And I still have, I have not really promoted my website very much, which is, I'm now I signed up for MailerLite, and I'm going to do a newsletter, and hopefully, because I'm not really that great at promoting my work,
It's hard.
So I've got to get better at it.
But does that always translate? Like Tamara, you're very good at sending out your newsletters and all of that. Do you find that like is your email list growing? Are you getting?
You know what? Every month it's like 5 new subscribers, and then I send an email and 5 people unsubscribe. And I'm like, okay.
No.
I
Is that what I have to look forward to?
I try not to take it personally, but sometimes, you know, you click on the names, you look at the unsubscribe list, and you go, why did you unsubscribe? You know, and it's hard. You kind of go, there's somebody you interact with all the time, and then I have to talk myself down and go, listen, you unsubscribe from things all the time because you can't have 1,000 emails coming into your inbox every day, and you have to prioritize. Yeah. And then I took a marketing course once, and the perspective change on it that they were trying to get us to make was, if people unsubscribe, they're not your ideal customer, client, follower, so don't take it personally, because once you get up above 1,000 subscribers for most of these, you have to pay for them. So you do not want to be paying for a bunch of people who never open your emails and never want to buy anything from you. But when you're in the growth phase and you feel like you're like shouting in the wind all the time, it's hard to maintain that perspective.
Yeah. Alice, and of course you had her on, she says, because I'm in her Connected Artist group, and she says that an awful lot, like, don't take it personally, people just have too much coming in, and if they do unsubscribe, you don't want them anyway, because they're not going to buy your work. So I try to keep that in mind, you know, even when I'm at these sales, but it's just a lot of time.
Yeah, I would imagine, like, it takes a ton of time to write a newsletter, and you have, like, the nice purple text that you use, Tamara. See, I do read yours, to highlight certain parts, and then the links, and then the photo. I mean, that's not something that you just whip off in 20 minutes.
No, no. And when you do, you get the emails saying the links don't work. You had a typo.
Yeah, that's not how you spell that. Yeah,
it's a long game. It's a long game, my friends. You got to make the art, and you have to, you know, let people know you're making the art, and try to just, you know, pull back, just like we do with painting, right? Try not to get focused on the outcome and the end product, and just kind of enjoy the process and think about, you know, the long game.
Now, Marg, at one point you were selling work through, what was it called, Branch Design?
Yes. So the first set I had with him, the first set I had with him, I think pretty much all of them sold. They were smaller though. They were 8 by 8.
Yeah.
And then the next time he wanted 12 by 12s, but the price was higher. But, you know, I've had a lot of conversations with him, because he said, you know, people were coming in and saying, oh my God, that's lovely. But people didn't buy. But I was sort of trying to pick his brain as to, like, if I got the price too high, blah, blah, blah. But they were selling on my website for more. And anyway, what he came up with, he said, you know, my clientele has changed. And there's not a lot of people coming in looking for art for their homes. And he was selling them mostly to people who he was doing work with, helping them design their houses. So that was helpful. But, you know, he's finished with a lot of them, and then the new people are wanting him for different types of things. So anyway, it was good, and people saw my work, so that was nice. But I'm not so sure I do that again.
Now, are you doing the Dundas studio tour?
I think I can. I think I've missed it, right?
Oh, I think the applications. Yeah, I mean, I'm not doing it because my buddy Fiona the Potter's not in it. I did it so I could hang out with her.
Yeah.
But
well, I would have liked to, but at the time I didn't really have a place. I live in a townhouse, and we can't have people coming in and out. Yeah. So I can't do it in my own place. No, so I would have had to do one of the churches maybe, which might be good. You never know.
Or you get a tent, and I just don't want to do tents. I did a tent for the Burlington studio tour, and I borrowed a tent, and it gets windy and you run around and you're like, and then it rains and it's like, I'm a big weenie. I have to be comfortable.
Yeah. I borrowed a tent for the Kilbride one, and fortunately I had some weight, so that was good. And it wasn't too windy, but it was just a lot of work setting up and taking down. And, yeah, and because it was outdoors, you got to do it every day, right? You can't leave your stuff up.
Nope, you got to rehang it. And there are people, like I know people in the BFAA group, the Burlington Fine Arts Association, they are doing all these outdoor fairs everywhere. They're going to Kingston, they're going to Toronto, like setting up, and for me to drive to Toronto, I got to get psyched up, and like I think about parking and how do you get all your stuff there. But they do this like over and over, like really motivated, much younger than I am, so that may account for some of it. But I just don't want to slog. I don't want to slog my work out there. And the big outdoor outdoor art fair is coming up. I think it's this coming week. Is it the coming weekend in Toronto, the big one?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, I've seen people posting about it.
Like, I just think, wow, amazing that people are willing to do that.
Yeah, and I'm very selfish because I really don't want to give up my summer weekends doing that.
And then being hot.
Yeah.
and I have a friend who did it, and she got robbed. I have a friend who did it. No. And she had her backpack stolen while she was there. And so she was out there for a whole weekend, and she got robbed.
And you have to mobilize friends and family. Like, you can't do it on your own. You've got to have people there to help you set up and hang out with you and give you a dinner break and all the rest of it, right?
And keep an eye on stuff, because I honestly think, for that kind of a venue where you're in the middle of Toronto and anybody can kind of swoop through while the artist is chatting and just walk off with your little bag. So I thought, that's awful. Don't want to do that.
Yeah, so true. Oh, well.
So anything else? Anything other?
No, I should let somebody else go on, but I did want to say hi. And finally, after the trouble I had the first time trying to get on with you, I thought, I've got to do it.
Well, we're glad you're here. You have such a beautiful space behind you.
Clean and white.
I just, because I haven't been painting for a week, I cleaned it. So it doesn't normally look this tidy. And as a matter of fact, this side that you can't see is where everything is. So
that's the side we want to see. So you can't see Marg.
Yeah, not today.
And Marg, we will do coffee.
Oh, we have to. And actually, I had mentioned something. She was talking about connected artists, and no, not connected artists. It was CVP, and I responded how good it was, and she said, "Oh, we should meet." So
we'll do it.
That was kind of good.
I will, when I see Pretty on Thursday, and I'm talking her ear off in the car, I will come up with some possible ideas.
All right, great, good. Now, how do I leave? So I don't want to be on for the. You just let me go.
Just hit the X.
You can never leave.
You have to hit the X in the corner of your screen. I think it's top right.
Okay, I'm going to do that. Thanks. And lovely talking to you.
Me too.
And we'll talk to you soon.
Come back again.
Bye. I will.
Good.
Bye.
There you go. It's a deal now. Well, we've been on almost 45 minutes, and it's been mostly us yakking away, unless there's somebody else who wants to come on.
As we're quite capable of doing.
You know what? We have not come up with another book, which is, I think, for the summer, it might not be a good time to have another book, but for the fall, I think we got I just bought a book called The Art Thief, but it's
is that about the de Kooning? Is that about the de Kooning painting that?
I don't know, but it sort of popped up maybe on Indigo's site as being a really good, but it's not a I always get this mixed up, nonfiction.
Is it fiction?
It's a novel.
Okay, because
next time.
Okay, so, but there is another book that might be it that has come across my radar recently. I don't know if you remember, maybe about a year ago, there was a de Kooning painting that had been stolen from a museum, an art gallery or museum somewhere in the Southwest, and it had been missing for years and years and years and years. And some couple had stolen it, just tore it out of its frame, and they had it hanging behind their bedroom door in their home. And I can't remember the story of the discovery, but I have a feeling that this might be it or something related. I'm going to find that other one because it was a really cool story.
So this, I'll let you know because I just got it, on my Kobo, and I believe it is based on a true story.
Okay, I think that it is. I think this is the story.
So I thought this will be a fun read, but yeah, Maria's on.
Hi, Maria from Portugal.
Maria, if you're looking for another trip to New York City, you might want to consider October. Wink.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. The other book that I have is the one that Nick Wilton had, The Artists. This is Your Brain on Art.
Oh, yeah.
And a bunch of people have been reading it. That looks good too, although I think it's supposed to be a bit more of a bit of a heavier read, more of a researchy read. That might be a possibility too. I
wonder if I got that one too. I've just downloaded a bunch of books. I'll see something and get it. Hey, Maria. I'm reading a very odd book now, which has been made into a movie called Poor Things, which is kind of it's got Emma Stone, Willem Dafoe, Mark Ruffalo, and it's not out until September, and it's kind of the female version of Frankenstein, sort of.
Oh.
It's very interesting.
It's called Poor
and very strange. Poor Things.
Okay.
The Last Leonardo. That's a book? Pretty?
I don't know. It might be.
About the most recent piece that they discovered that they thought was his?
Oh, that was a recent story too. That's what brought the de Kooning thing up for me because I had seen both of those. It's a book. Okay. Well, maybe we should choose a book to read mid-September so that anybody who's over the summer does have time to read.
Lewis. Oh, and greetings from Indonesia. Wow.
We will jot all these things down. You know what? I've been going down them. You watched Ted Lasso, right?
No, I can't get it.
Oh.
Like I can't get the Smartless live thing because it's on something else, right?
The good thing about the Smartless live thing is they're releasing all 10 of their episodes, the lives, as audio podcasts.
But
so
you can't see them. So I did listen to the Will Ferrell one yesterday.
Yeah.
It was a howl.
Yeah.
9th Street Women. Yes.
Yes.
Great one. Big book.
Huge.
I'm still reading it. It's fascinating. It's so interesting. So interesting. So what rabbit hole are you down?
I'm down the Ted Lasso rabbit hole.
Ted Lasso.
I'm watching like all the memes, and I have to read I've listened to all these podcasts. Brene Brown had Jason Sudeikis and Brendan Hunt, the two main characters, on. And as a therapist who's interested in emotions and shame and guilt, which are huge themes in the show, she's talking about that. Yes, and Ted Lasso has one of Alice's paintings in his flat.
No
I did notice that. Yes.
Okay, so
yes.
Have you watched this? Is this on like Hulu or one of those?
I don't know what it's on because I have a insider
I know
way
you have a son who can do this for you. We need a child living here so that we can start streaming things that we don't subscribe.
Well, and then I started going down. So Jason Sudeikis is really an interesting guy. I listened to a couple of episodes, various podcasts talking about him because he got his start in stand-up and then sketch comedy, and it's called Ted Lasso. And
Apple TV, see, I don't.
And then the whole world is coming together here because I listened to something on Smartless, and they were talking about how there's this band called Mumford and Sons.
Yes.
I think they were Saturday Night Live band. Jason Sudeikis used them for all of the covers in Ted Lasso, and then it came out in a Smartless episode that Jason Bateman in 2013 did a music video. Have you seen this one? With
No.
with Jason Sudeikis and Jason Bateman and two other comic actors did a lip sync cover video to a song by Mumford and Sons, which you have to go
Okay,
watch on YouTube.
Mumford
Just
and Sons.
just go Mumford and Sons, Jason Bateman, and it is the most. I sent it to my husband this morning, and I didn't give him any backstory, and he didn't know what was going on. Watch it. It's like a parody of that whole genre of videos, and they are so
Oh my
fun.
God. Okay, as soon as we're done this, I can't get enough Jason Bateman.
Me neither.
And, those guys. I just love Sean Hayes.
We started.
And Phil Arnett.
Okay, so I'll give you another. This is weird. It's all 7 degrees. We watched the new Robert Downey Jr. movie yesterday, Senior, which is the documentary.
Yeah.
Sean Hayes is in that because do you remember on a Smartless episode when he was on? He asked Sean. He said he wanted to perform a German, a Schubert song in German because he'd done it as a kid and his father wanted him to redo it. And would Sean play the piano? And he said yes. Sean Hayes is in it playing the piano at his house with Robert Downey Jr. dressed up in German lederhosen singing this song. It's amazing.
I just love Sean Hayes. I just love all those guys. Why can't we just have them over for dinner or something?
We should get them on the podcast.
Oh, that's a good idea. I'm happy to invite them. I just wonder, would they take pity on it?
No, I don't think so. I think they're
so busy.
Yeah. But
they're so funny, and they're so interesting.
We just started watching Arrested Development again.
Oh, I think I just saw the last episode. Because it's like
2003 was when the original first 3 seasons came on, and it's still very, very funny.
And Michael Cera.
Yes.
I just love him in that. He's such a nerd.
Yeah.
Such a nerd.
Yeah.
But the brother.
Not Job.
No, not okay.
That's Will Arnett.
I love his magic routines and his song. What's the other brother's name? Name.
The one who loves the mother.
Because my phone's up here.
I know.
Okay, the brother. If you watch Arrested Development, the one who's got the mummy issues, who has no hand, he's got like a hook, or he had a foot.
Yeah.
In the last episode. What's his name? Okay, there's two things. There's 2 things I have to do when we get up.
No, not Tobias.
Tobias.
Tobias is the brother-in-law.
Irritates me.
Oh, I love
the other
Tobias.
one. He dated Liza Minnelli in it.
His name's not Michael. No, it's not Michael.
No. Buster.
Buster. Yes.
Thank you, Marg. So goofy. And he came on. He was interviewed on Smartless.
Oh, we laugh through every episode.
Every episode.
And you remember them from having watched them originally, and I know it's coming. It's like, oh my God, he's going to do the never naked thing next. Remember when Tobias
his jean shorts.
He doesn't go naked in the shower.
Doesn't go naked. Tobias. Like that whole storyline just got weirder and weirder and weirder. Like it's the only one who's like kind of sort of normal is Jason Bateman. Yeah. Michael. He plays Michael, right?
Yeah. He's like the foil, the comic foil. Anyways. Okay, so that was not art at all. Sorry guys, we got off on we did
no guarantees
down the rabbit hole.
You get your money back because we did deviate.
You go ahead, unsubscribe.
You unsubscribe, but you got some great suggestions for podcasts. Non-art ones, but
that's right.
I do
we
need a new series. Roman and I need a new series to watch because we wrapped up Animal Kingdom. If anybody has not watched Animal Kingdom, it's good. It's like Sons of Anarchy at the beach.
Yeah.
Kind of. So we need a new series. If any recommendations, feel free to pass them along.
We started dipping into Black Mirror because both of the boys like it. It's hit and miss. Like sometimes you get a really good episode, you'd be like, wow, what was that? And then other times it's like, this is just a little creepy and weird. Mm-hmm. It kind of reminds me of the Twilight Zone.
It's absolutely, it's 100% the Twilight Zone. It's 100% the Twilight Zone.
And I kind of like it in the sense that sometimes I don't want to watch a series. Sometimes you just want to sit down for 45 minutes and watch something that's interesting, and it's a standalone. You don't have to prep for it. You don't have to remember what happened last night. You don't have to do previously.
And if you don't like it, you just go to the next one.
Yeah.
Okay, just before we wrap up, we started watching we lasted 5 minutes. And I think that was 4.5 minutes longer than what Roman could handle, on Prime, called Ringers, based on Dead Ringers. Do you remember Dead Ringers with Jeremy Irons? But this is like the female version, and it is a series. And 5 minutes, and I looked at Roman and I said, would you rather we not watch this? It was gory. It was shocking, like right up front. And then I thought, we can't handle this. We just cannot handle this. So if you're curious, and maybe it improves, or maybe it's less gory after the first 5 minutes, try it.
Did you ever watch 24?
No. With
Kiefer Sutherland? Because he's got a new one out. It was only 8 episodes, called Rabbit Hole, and he's in it. And the character who played, you never watched Game of Thrones either, did you?
Yes, I did. I watched all the Game
so,
I watched all.
What's his name? Tyrion.
I love
father.
Tyrion Lannister. Yeah.
The father. He plays the father. Is it Tyrion or Tywin? Who played the father? Tywin, right?
I'd have to get Roman.
Yeah. Sorry. It's Tywin. It was the older guy, not Peter. Whatever.
Dinklage.
Yeah, not Dinklage. The other guy. He plays the father. We watched Rabbit Hole. It's really interesting. It's one of those ones where you're not quite sure what's happening.
Okay.
And it's only 8 episodes, and you can kind of blast through it. We blasted through it in about 4 days.
Is it Netflix?
Oh, I don't know. What is it, Pretty? I'm sorry.
If it's like Disney or Hulu, or I just don't know how to get those, and we don't want to keep paying for more.
Gotcha.
And I know you can like go through the back door and do this and do that, but we don't know how to do it.
I don't either.
We need a 10-year-old to come in and show us how to do all this stuff.
Okay. We're at an hour of just like chit chat. I guess we should probably like get some guests lined up. We haven't got any guests lined up for the summer. So
we did, but we had to cancel.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. Sorry. We had a cancellation that we will reschedule. We've rescheduled. That'll be the 3rd reschedule. So hopefully we can get that happening.
It's summer though, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes things happen.
Maybe we won't be every week for the summer. Maybe we'll be every 2nd week, and maybe we'll do lots of like this kind of like, let's just hang out in the studio and talk about what we're watching on television.
And podcasts and books. Why not?
That's okay. That's okay. If you don't like it, don't watch.
Don't unsubscribe.
We will definitely we will get ourselves organized and get some guests going for the fall though. Okay. All right. Okay, I'm going out to camp. Make sure
have fun with the kids. Have fun with the kids.
I will.
Watch out for cougars and bears.
Cougars.
And ticks.
Yeah. All right, guys, thanks for coming. Thanks, Mark, for jumping on. It was nice to see your face and meet you.
Yeah.
And we'll see you soon.
See you soon.
Bye.
Bye.